The South China Sea has become one of the most contentious regions in the world, with competing territorial claims threatening to erupt into conflict. In recent years, tensions have escalated significantly as China has become increasingly assertive in pressing its expansive claims to this strategic waterway. The islands located here are important for our exam purpose, but before delving into each of the disputed islands in the South China Sea, it's crucial to understand the nature of the dispute itself. This dark blue portion of the sea is referred to as the South China Sea. It is a vital artery for global trade, with over $3 trillion worth of cargo passing through its waters each year. The sea is also believed to hold significant untapped oil and natural gas reserves. China claims 90% of the South China Sea as its sovereign territory, a claim that is opposed by 5 Southeast Asian states and Taiwan. To understand the root cause of this dispute, we need to have an understanding of 2 key concepts. 1. The 9-dash line. 2. Exclusive economic zones. To understand the roots of the South China Sea conflict, we need to go back to the early 20th century and the origins of China's 9-dash line. In the early years after the founding of the People's Republic of China in 1949, the country had virtually no navy to speak of. The few ships it possessed were mostly obsolete vessels left over from the nationalist forces or acquired from the Soviet Union. The focus of the People's Liberation Army was overwhelmingly on land forces, with naval power being a low priority. However, as China began to emerge as a growing economic and political power in the region, this started to change. With its economy and trade expanding, China began to pay more attention to the strategic importance of the South China Sea for its maritime trade routes and potential oil and gas reserves. It was in this context that, in 1947, the government of the Republic of China asked its cartographers to officially define China's claims in the South China Sea on a set of old British maritime maps. A Chinese mapmaker named Yang Huairen drew an 11-dash line on the map, enclosing most of the South China Sea and officially naming the islands and reefs within the line as the South China Sea Islands. After the Communist Party took over China in 1949, Mao Zedong gave up China's claims to the Gulf of Tonkin in a show of solidarity with Vietnam, reducing the 11-dash line to 9 dashes. Since then, it has been known as the 9-dash line. Fast forward to today, and China now boasts the world's largest navy by number of ships, a testament to how far it has come since the days when it had virtually no naval forces. It has used this naval might, along with the ambiguous 9-dash line, to assert increasingly broad claims in the South China Sea. China now claims sovereignty over the vast majority of the South China Sea, based on this 9-dash line. But what is the official reality as per international laws? To understand this, we need to know about exclusive economic zones. Under the United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea, UNCLOS, which was signed in 1982 and came into force in 1994, countries have the right to establish an exclusive economic zone, EEZ, extending 200 nautical miles from their coastline. Within this zone, the coastal state has sovereign rights to explore, exploit, conserve and manage natural resources, both living and non-living. The EEZ is a key concept in the South China Sea disputes because it forms the basis for the claims of other nations involved, including Vietnam, the Philippines, Malaysia, and Brunei. These countries argue that, under UNCLOS, they have the right to exploit the resources in their EEZs, including fishing grounds, oil and gas reserves, and other seabed resources. Importantly, China is also a signatory to UNCLOS, having ratified the convention in 1996. However, China's 9-dash line claim, which extends far beyond 200 nautical miles from its coast and overlaps with the EEZs of other nations, is in violation of this convention. In 2016, an international tribunal convened under UNCLOS ruled that China's 9-dash line claim has no legal basis and that China has no historic rights to resources within the sea areas falling within the 9-dash line. The tribunal also found that China had violated the Philippines' sovereign rights in its EEZ. Despite this ruling, China has rejected the tribunal's authority and continues to assert its claims based on the 9-dash line. This has led to ongoing tensions and disputes with other nations. So over the past year, several locations in the South China Sea have been making headlines. Let's take a closer look at these places and the events that have unfolded. First, the Philippines revealed the locations of 4 new strategic sites for U.S. military bases. Among these locations, Balabac Island holds particular importance. Situated off the coast of Palawan, Balabac Island is strategically positioned near the disputed Spratly Islands in the South China Sea. This area has been a focal point of territorial disputes, with China constructing artificial islands equipped with military facilities, such as runways and missile systems, in the Spratly Islands. Next, we have the Second Thomas Shoal, also known as Ayungin Shoal in the Philippines. This shoal has been in the news due to recent tensions between China and the Philippines. Located approximately 105 nautical miles west of the Philippines within its exclusive economic zone, the shoal was the site of a collision between a Philippine supply boat and a Chinese Coast Guard ship in December 2023. The Philippines accused the Chinese vessel of intentional ramming, making international headlines. Although both China and the Philippines claim the Second Thomas Shoal, it is currently under Philippine control. Lastly, we have Mischief Reef, also known as Panganiban Reef in the Philippines. This reef has been in the spotlight due to a significant increase in Chinese maritime militia presence and activities. In July 2023, satellite imagery revealed an unprecedented gathering of around 180 Chinese militia vessels at the reef. The South China Sea remains a hotbed of territorial disputes, with the Spratly Islands, Scarborough Shoal, and Paracel Islands being the most prominent contested areas. The Spratly Islands are claimed in whole or in part by China, Taiwan, Vietnam, the Philippines, Malaysia, and Brunei, with various claimants occupying different features. Scarborough Shoal, claimed by China, Taiwan, and the Philippines, is effectively controlled by China through a constant Coast Guard presence. The Paracel Islands in the northern part of the South China Sea are claimed by China, Taiwan, and Vietnam, but have been under China's control since 1974. As tensions continue to rise in the region, fueled by China's expansive claims and growing military capabilities, the international community remains concerned about the potential for conflict and the need for peaceful resolution of these complex territorial disputes.